Temper tantrums, they are not just for toddlers. In fact, I have seen teens, I've seen adults have these incredibly dramatic temper tantrums. When I was doing the BBC program, The World's Strictest Parents, back in 2009, one of the youth that the BBC brought to stay in our home had a full-on temper tantrum, and she was 17 years old. Her temper tantrum looked kind of like she was 3 or 4. So how do you deal with temper tantrums? Well, I'm Nicholeen Peck. I'm a parenting expert, and we are going to talk about the self-government way of dealing with temper tantrums so that people learn to control themselves more than us just trying to have control over them. Temper tantrums look different depending on the person. I don't know if you've noticed that, but some things might be temper tantrums that you might not be categorizing as temper tantrums. When a person goes completely out of control and they will not follow the instructions of their parent, then they are having a temper tantrum. Or maybe you could say if there's adults not following the law, then they're having a temper tantrum. So temper tantrums can look like just opposition, just defiance, even if a person is saying hardly nothing. Temper tantrums can be pouty, they can be whiny, they can be stomping, they can be screaming and mad, they can be don't talk to me, I am not looking at you. There are so many different ways that people have temper tantrums. But if you can just put in your head, all of those are the same thing, because they are. When I did foster care for troubled teens, they were all between the ages of 12 to 18. I did treatment foster care for these teens. What I did was I told myself, no matter what out of control behavior they are having, it's technically the same. What they're saying with their out of control behavior is, I want to tell you something, or I don't feel understood, and I don't know how to express myself right now because I am lacking the skill and I am starting to go back in my brain so that I can't think. Because that's basically what a person is saying, whether they're secluding, whether they're crying, or whether they are in your face with fire in their eyes. So, what do we do to help them once we've identified, okay, all of these are the same? Even though they look different, the remedy is exactly the same as well. And part of that remedy is helping them be understood. So they want to be understood more than anything. They want you to know what they're thinking, and that's why they engage in a power struggle. But we can't engage in the power struggle. We have to do something more productive. The start of that productivity is describing. We need to describe what we're seeing, not with any emotional overtones at all. And we need to describe the direction that they need to go. This is what a good leader does. They point the direction for the person. So what it sounds like for me when I start describing is I say, just now, I gave you a no answer about going out to play with your friends. And you turned your head away from me and you screamed, and then you said, you don't care about me, which shows me that you want to talk to me about our relationship and about us caring about each other. That's important. I want to have that conversation with you, but we've got to choose to be calm first, then we can talk about it. So what you need to do is you need to do the steps of accepting a no answer. Now I teach children 4 basic skills, and each of these skills, following instructions, accepting no answers, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately, they all have skill sets attached to them. Accepting no answers has 4 steps. You look at the person, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say okay or ask to disagree appropriately, and then drop the subject. So I'm going to point that child to disagreeing appropriately. I'm going to say what you need to do is you need to look at me, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say okay, and then ask, may I disagree appropriately? Then I'll say yes, and you can do disagree appropriately, which is another one of their skill sets. So what we want to do is we want to describe instead of react. That's going to be really important. If we start reacting, we engage in that power struggle, and then this thing never goes away. Everyone takes it personally, and people have a hard time getting to a place of calmness. So that brings me to the next thing, calmness. We need to understand calmness. I need to know what calmness is, and my children need to know what calmness is. We need to maybe play games where we say, what does it look like when you don't have a calm face? Or, what does it look like when you do have a calm face? Right? You could, and sleeping is very calm. But you could talk about what calm is and what calm isn't. They need to know the differences between those things and what it feels like when they're calm. What is their calm voice? What is your calm voice? You need to talk about those things with each other so that you can point the direction toward calmness. Also, when we talk about pointing the direction, it's important to have a dialogue that you can use to help a person get to a position of calm. So when our children go completely out of control, when they're having a temper tantrum, whether it's the kind where they won't talk to anybody or they won't stop talking to everybody, then we do the same thing. When they're older, we do a script. We go through a script, same words. The children know it. We teach it to them long before we ever use it. And it is called the Rule of 3. And in this script, we do 3 things 3 times. We do a really detailed pre-teach, we do an instruction, and then we do the 7-step correction. And probably some of those things are things that you are not familiar with. But that is totally okay, because you know what? I'm going to give you a gift. This gift is going to help you get to your calmness, help you control these tantrums even better. Every person needs to understand calmness and how they become calm when they're starting to go out of control. We need tools for that. Otherwise, we always feel like we don't have the power to do it. And it wears us out and throws us even more into a tantrum. Your children want to have control when they're in the tantrum. They're trying to control you to get it. But what they really need is control over themselves. They need self-government. So this gift I'm giving you is a free Calm Parenting Toolkit. This free course is going to help you work on mastering your calmness and help your children learn how to be calm at the same time. It is possible for 2 people who are not perfect at getting calm yet to learn the skills simultaneously and to have their relationship and their understanding transform. So there's a link to this Calm Parenting Toolkit at the bottom in the description underneath this video. Click it and get your free Calm Parenting Toolkit today.